If your morning fasting glucose is often high, you feel heavy and tired through the day, and you crash with sleepiness after meals. The first place to look is not a miracle pill, but the pattern you repeat every morning. Blood sugar control is not a lifelong war against food. It is the process of restoring the body's natural rhythm, so that fuel moves where it should when it should. This script is practical education, not personal medical advice. It is built for people with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, who want a simple routine they can actually keep. Nothing here is about guilt or perfection. It is about structure, what to do first, what to do next, and how to make it easy to repeat. Why mornings matter: while you sleep, your body still works. Your brain and heart need steady fuel, so your liver releases glucose into the bloodstream before you wake. That is normal physiology. The problem begins when insulin resistance has grown. When muscle mass is lower, daily movement is smaller, and visceral fat is higher. Insulin signal does not open the cell door as efficiently. Glucose stays on the road instead of parking inside cells. By morning, many people already start the day with more glucose circulating than they realize. In that situation, the first food you add acts like the first push on a swing. It can create a small, steady arc or a big, wild swing. That is why breakfast often shapes the entire day's curve. Many common breakfasts are built for speed: sweetbread, cereal, juice, jam toast, rice porridge, or skipping the meal and running on coffee. These choices feel easy because they require little chewing and digest fast. But fast digestion is exactly the issue. Quickly broken down starches and sugars can raise glucose sharply, then drop it quickly, which triggers hunger, cravings, irritability, and a second round of overeating later. Then lunch becomes bigger, snacks become sweeter, dinner becomes later, and the whole day turns into a roller coaster. The goal is to rebuild a stable line, not to win a single meal. Here are the core principles. 1. Start with protein and fiber and keep refined starch small. 2. Keep the eating order consistent: vegetables first, then protein and healthy fat, then starch last. 3. Do not put sweetness in the driver's seat in the morning. If you want fruit, pair a small amount with protein. 4. Keep breakfast time predictable so your body can anticipate and respond. 5. Choose chewable forms over blended or ultra-soft forms. Chewing slows intake, improves satiety signals, and reduces rapid absorption. A simple plate method makes this concrete. Imagine a plate. Fill half with non-starchy vegetables, cooked or raw depending on comfort. Fill more than half of the remaining space with protein: eggs, tofu, fish, Greek-style plain yogurt, beans, or lean meat. Use the last small space for starch: oats, barley, brown rice, sweet potato, or whole grain bread, kept modest. This method avoids obsessive counting and still creates the glucose-friendly structure you need. Protein is the pillar. It slows stomach emptying, reduces the speed glucose enters the blood, and supports muscle maintenance. Muscle is a glucose reservoir. When muscle shrinks, there is less storage space and glucose rises more easily. That is why breakfast protein is not just about one meal. It is a daily vote for keeping your reservoir open. Fiber is the buffer. Vegetables, beans, mushrooms, and seaweed slow absorption and increase fullness. So you do not chase snacks all morning. Starch is not the enemy. The enemy is refined starch in large amounts, eaten first, eaten fast. Whole grains and starchy vegetables can be useful tools when portion and order are controlled. Another practical tip: cooked starch that is cooled and later reheated can develop more resistant starch, which may slow digestion. Leftover rice or potatoes, cooled in the refrigerator and reheated, often produce a gentler response than freshly cooked versions. This is not magic, it is structure and timing. A small sour element can help some people. Vinegar or lemon on vegetables, or a lightly pickled side without added sugar, may slow carbohydrate digestion. But avoid sweet and sour sauces. If you use vinegar, always dilute it and avoid harsh acidity on an empty stomach. If you have reflux or sensitive digestion, this is an optional tool, not a requirement. Now the practice 3 breakfast templates. Template 1 is the fast protein plate: 2 eggs, a bowl of vegetables, and a small portion of whole grain or sweet potato. Template 2 is the warm 1-bowl meal: oats cooked with vegetables, then finished with an egg or tofu for protein. Template 3 is the traditional meal structure: a small bowl of mixed grain rice, a protein side such as fish or tofu, and multiple vegetable sides with soup focused on solids rather than salty broth. The difference is not culture. The difference is protein and fiber first, starch last, and smaller. Fruit and snacks deserve special attention. Fruit can be healthy and still raise glucose quickly when eaten alone in large portions. Treat fruit as a side, not a meal. Pair it with protein plain yogurt, with a small portion of berries or apple slices with an egg. Avoid juices and smoothies, because liquid sugar enters fast and does not satisfy long. Nuts are helpful in small amounts but easy to overeat, so keep them modest. Weight matters for many people with type 2 diabetes, but starving strategies rarely last. A better approach is mindful structure. Slow the pace, stop at comfortable fullness, and remove screen eating. When you eat while distracted, your brain stores fewer I ate signals and you keep seeking more. Use a smaller plate, chew more, and drink water before meals. These changes can reduce total intake without feeling like punishment. Movement does not need to be intense. Blood sugar is sensitive to what you do after eating. Sitting still after meals keeps glucose circulating longer. A short, easy walk, light housework, or gentle stairs can encourage muscles to pull glucose from the blood. If your joints hurt, use chair-based movements or slow standing and sitting practice. Consistency beats intensity. Sleep and stress are part of the same system. Poor sleep shifts hunger, hormones, increases cravings, and can worsen insulin resistance. Stress hormones can raise glucose even if you eat perfectly. That is why a breakfast routine works best when paired with a calmer evening, earlier dinner, less late-night snacking, and a stable bedtime. When you have a stressful day, do not blame yourself. Treat stress management as part of glucose management. Safety matters. If you use glucose-lowering medication or insulin, lifestyle changes can increase the risk of hypoglycemia. Shaking, sweating, sudden hunger, dizziness, or heart pounding can signal low blood sugar. Discuss changes with your clinician so medication can be adjusted safely. If you have kidney or liver disease, protein needs and certain food choices may require tailoring. The goal is better control with safety, not rapid extremes. A realistic 3-month plan in the first week. Add 1 breakfast protein every day. In the second week, practice vegetables first. In the third week, make starch the last and smallest part. In the fourth week, change fruit to a paired side, rather than a standalone snack. In the next month, stabilize breakfast timing and add a short post-meal walk. In the third month, build simple meal prep habits, so the routine becomes automatic. This is how lasting change is built. Small rules, repeated until they feel normal. To make mornings easier, use a 10-minute night before setup. Wash and portion vegetables. Boil eggs. Cook mixed grains and portion them. Prepare tofu in a container. Mix a simple dressing, olive oil, lemon, a pinch of salt. When morning comes, you do not need motivation. You only need to follow the plan you already set. Eating out is common, so here are better choices rather than perfect ones. If you order soup with rice, keep rice small and eat solids first. If you end up with noodles, reduce the noodles, add extra vegetables, and include protein. If you buy convenience foods, choose eggs, plain yogurt, salads with minimal sweet dressing, and tofu. Avoid sugary drinks and pastry breakfasts. Again, the goal is repetition of a pattern, not perfection. Common mistakes to avoid cutting all carbs suddenly and crashing overeating healthy foods like nuts and cheese. Adding hidden sugar through sauces and sweet coffees, quitting after 1 off day, expecting a straight line improvement. Your body changes in waves. Look for a better average, not a perfect day. A weekly rotation helps reduce decision fatigue. Pick 2 default breakfasts you can repeat: an egg and vegetable plate and a tofu or yogurt and vegetable option. Add an oat-based warm bowl for variety. When you have a social meal or a holiday meal, return to your default breakfast the next day. The skill is not never slipping. The skill is returning quickly. Track what matters simply. You do not need elaborate charts. Each day, check a few boxes. Did I eat protein at breakfast? Did I eat vegetables first? Was starch last and small? Did I move after eating? Add 1 note about how you felt: less sleepy, less craving, lighter morning, better mood. These lived signals often change before lab numbers do. They are still real progress. Finally, remember what this is really about. Blood sugar is not just a number, it is the rhythm of your day. When the rhythm stabilizes, mornings feel lighter, afternoons feel steadier, and evenings feel calmer. Start with 1 action tomorrow: water after waking, 1 protein at breakfast, a short walk after eating. Build from there. Small structure, repeated, becomes health. More breakfast options, so you do not get bored. Scrambled eggs with mushrooms and spinach, steamed egg custard with chopped vegetables. Tofu warmed in broth with seaweed sardines or mackerel. with cucumber and cabbage chicken shredded into a salad, with lemon and olive oil beans mixed with tomatoes and greens plain yogurt, topped with a small handful of berries and a spoon of nuts overnight. Oats made with unsweetened soy milk and finished with cinnamon and seeds vegetable soup with tofu and an egg. A small portion of sweet potato paired with eggs, and a big salad barley rice in a small bowl, with fish and multiple vegetable sides. Lettuce wraps filled with tuna and crunchy vegetables instead of rice. A simple omelet with onions and peppers, cottage cheese or plain kefir if tolerated, paired with vegetables and a small piece of fruit. A warm bowl of oats cooked with carrots and zucchini and finished with an egg. Miso-style soup with tofu mushrooms and greens with rice kept modest. A seaweed and tofu salad with a boiled egg, shrimp, and vegetable stir-fry served with a small scoop of brown rice. Leftover mixed grain rice reheated and topped with a large portion of vegetables and protein. So the rice becomes the smallest part, vegetable and egg drop soup with a side of cucumber salad. Keep the same structure and swap the ingredients. If you struggle with appetite in the morning, start tiny and warm. A few bites of soft protein can be easier than a full plate. Try warm tofu, a small bowl of egg soup, or plain yogurt and an egg. The key is to avoid a breakfast that is only starch or only coffee. Even a small protein anchor can reduce cravings later. Meal prep is not about cooking fancy meals. It is about removing friction. Use frozen vegetables if fresh produce keeps going bad. Frozen broccoli, spinach, and mixed vegetables can be steamed in minutes and have consistent quality. Keep canned fish without sweet sauces. Eggs, tofu, plain yogurt, and beans as reliable staples. When the kitchen is stocked with easy protein and easy fiber, your default choice becomes healthier without willpower. Coffee can fit, but set rules. Avoid sugar, syrup, and sweet cream. If you notice that coffee on an empty stomach makes you shaky or more hungry, drink water first and have it with breakfast rather than before breakfast. If you rely on flavored lattes, transition by reducing sweetness, gradually and pairing with protein. The beverage should not become the main calorie source of the morning. Portion guidance without numbers, think small starch. Big vegetables, steady protein. For starch, imagine a portion smaller than your clenched fist. For vegetables, aim for a generous pile that covers half your plate or more. For protein, aim for a portion that feels substantial, not a token bite. Adjust for your comfort and medical needs. If you have kidney concerns, follow medical guidance for protein amounts. Here is a practical grocery list organized by category. Proteins: eggs, tofu, plain Greek-style yogurt, beans, lentils, canned tuna or sardines in water, frozen fish, chicken, lean meat if desired, vegetables, leafy greens, cucumbers, tomatoes, cabbage, broccoli, mushrooms, onions, zucchini, carrots, seaweed products, mixed frozen vegetables. Starches: rolled oats or steel-cut oats, barley, brown rice, sweet potatoes, whole grain bread in small portions. Extras: olive oil, lemons, vinegar, herbs, black pepper, garlic, sesame seeds, unsweetened tea. The goal is to build repeatable breakfasts from simple ingredients. Simple recipes you can memorize. 1 warm oat bowl with vegetables and egg. Cook oats with water or unsweetened milk. Add chopped mushrooms and onions. Simmer until soft. Then stir in an egg for protein. 2 tofu vegetable bowl. Warm tofu, add cucumber and tomato, drizzle. Lemon and olive oil, add seaweed for fiber and include an egg. 3 fish and greens plate. Heat fish, serve with a large portion of greens and keep rice small. 4 bean salad. Combine beans with chopped vegetables, olive oil, and vinegar. Add eggs or tuna for protein. These are not gourmet. They are reliable. Cravings are not moral failure, they are signals. If you crave sweets in the morning, check sleep first. If sleep was short, your brain will ask for quick fuel. In that case, do not try to white-knuckle it. Use a structured substitute: plain yogurt with a small amount of fruit and nuts, or an egg, plus a small piece of fruit. The craving usually softens when protein and fiber arrive. Social meals and holidays, the strategy is sequence and return. At the event, start with vegetables and protein, then taste starch and dessert in small amounts, rather than making them the foundation. Eat slowly. Drink water. After the event, return to your default breakfast. When you have a default, you do not spiral after one indulgent meal. A short post-meal movement routine you can do at home. Stand up and sit down from a chair, slowly wall push-ups, gentle marching in place. Carrying light groceries around the room. Slow stair steps if safe. The purpose is to wake muscles up, not to exhaust yourself. If you feel dizzy or unwell, stop and prioritize safety. If your fasting glucose is high despite a good breakfast, look at the evening. Late dinners and late snacks can push glucose higher overnight. Alcohol can disrupt sleep and appetite and may lead to unstable patterns. Try moving dinner earlier, reducing late-night starch, and keeping a protein and vegetable-centered dinner. Also watch stress worry can raise glucose. A calm wind-down routine can indirectly support better morning readings. Frequently asked questions. Is honey better than sugar? Honey is still sugar in the body and can raise glucose. Is fruit always safe? Fruit can be healthy, but portion and pairing matter. Are all whole grains automatically good? Whole grains are helpful, but large portions can still raise glucose. Do I need to avoid fat? No, but avoid excess. Too much fat can add calories and worsen lipid profiles. Can I fix diabetes only with food? Some people improve greatly with lifestyle, others need medication for safety. The best goal is stable control and prevention of complications with medical guidance. Use a simple checklist each morning. Water after waking. Protein included. Vegetables first. Starch last and small. Sweet drinks avoided. Eating pace slowed. A short movement after eating. If you hit 3 of these most days, you are building the foundation. Over time, you can add the rest. Small wins repeated are stronger than big promises broken. Motivation fades, so design wins. Put eggs and vegetables where you see them first. Keep sweets out of visible reach. Use smaller bowls for starch. Prepare your breakfast decision the night before. When the environment changes, the right choice becomes the easy choice. This is how people maintain change for years, not weeks. One more perspective: imagine glucose as cars on a road and muscle as parking lots. When parking lots are small, cars crowd the road and traffic jams appear. Your job is not to ban cars. Your job is to expand parking and improve entry. Protein and fiber slow the traffic entering the road. Movement opens the parking lots. Sleep and stress control the traffic signals. Breakfast is the earliest time you can set the system to calm mode. If you want a very simple starting rule, use this tomorrow morning. Eat 1 protein item before any starch. That alone can change the slope of your day. The next day, add vegetables before starch. Then reduce sugary drinks. Then add a short walk. Step by step is not slow. Step by step is sustainable. This script is long because real life is complex, but the action is simple. Choose 1 default breakfast for weekdays and repeat it until it feels normal. Then add a second default for variety. When you can repeat without thinking, you have a habit. Once you have a habit, results follow. You do not need perfect knowledge. You need a pattern that fits your life. A 30-day practical pathway can look like this. Week 1 focuses only on anchoring breakfast with protein. Each morning, before any bread, rice, or fruit, you add an egg, tofu, plain yogurt, fish, or beans. Keep everything else the same so the change is small. Week 2 adds the order rule: vegetables first, protein next, starch last. You do not need new foods, only a new sequence. Week 3 adjusts the starch. Smaller portion, less refined, and preferably not eaten alone. You switch sweet bread to a more whole grain option if you must have bread. You switch sugary cereal to oats. And you keep rice smaller while increasing vegetables and protein. Week 4 adds movement after breakfast and after dinner, a short gentle walk or light housework. At the end of the month, you will not be guessing, you will have built a repeatable system. If you want warm breakfasts but hate cooking, use the 1-pot approach. Keep a pot on the stove and a small set of base ingredients. Toss in frozen mixed vegetables, mushrooms, and a protein source like tofu or an egg. Season with a small amount of salt, pepper, garlic, and a squeeze of lemon. Add oats if you want a starch element, but keep it modest and finish with protein. This bowl is fast, filling, and stable for glucose. The same method works with soup. Make a large pot of vegetable soup with tofu and beans. Store portions and reheat in the morning. Soup is comforting, just keep it low sugar and not overly salty. Reading labels is a hidden superpower. Many products marketed as healthy contain added sugar. Look for terms like sugar, syrup, maltose, dextrose, fructose, and concentrated fruit extracts. If these appear near the beginning of the ingredient list, the product is likely sweet enough to spike glucose. Choose plain versions and add your own flavor with cinnamon, lemon, or a few berries. Also watch low-fat products. When fat is removed, sweetness is often added to keep taste. For yogurt, choose plain. For cereals, avoid sweetened mixes. For sauces, reduce sweet and sticky styles and use savory or sour alternatives. Here are more detailed meal ideas you can rotate through without boredom. A savory yogurt bowl, plain yogurt mixed with chopped cucumber, salt, pepper, and herbs topped with a boiled egg. A tofu scramble crumble tofu, sauté with onions and mushrooms, add turmeric or pepper for color, and serve with a side of greens. A bean and vegetable stew, simmer beans with tomatoes, garlic, and vegetables, then add an egg on top. A fish breakfast, grilled or canned. Fish served with a large salad and a tiny portion of grains. A vegetable omelet, eggs with spinach, mushrooms, and tomatoes. A seaweed bowl, seaweed salad with tofu and a boiled egg. A barley bowl, small barley portion, topped with vegetables and protein. So it becomes a garnish rather than the base. A sweet potato plate, small sweet potato with eggs and a big salad. A lentil bowl, lentils with vegetables and a squeeze of lemon. A kimchi-style bowl if you enjoy fermented foods. Keep it modest and choose versions without added sweetness. Pair with tofu and eggs and keep rice small. If you are used to rice porridge, you can keep the comfort but change the structure. Add chopped vegetables to the porridge. Add an egg for protein and keep the bowl smaller than your usual serving. Eat a few bites of vegetables first, then the porridge. This keeps the same cultural comfort, while moving the glucose response in a better direction. If you like toast, you can keep a small piece but never make it the whole meal. Pair it with eggs and vegetables. Spread avocado or yogurt-based spreads instead of jam. Keep jam and honey as occasional tastes, not daily habits. Hydration influences how you feel, and how you feel influences what you eat. Dehydration can feel like hunger, and it can increase fatigue that triggers sugar-seeking. Make water the first drink after waking. Keep unsweetened tea as an option. Avoid starting the day with fruit juice, sweet soy milk, or sweet coffee. If you have reflux, be gentle with acidic drinks and take them with food. For many people, the hardest time is not breakfast, but late night. Late-night snacks often come from 3 drivers: insufficient dinner protein, stress, and poor sleep routines. If late-night hunger is frequent, first improve dinner structure. More vegetables and protein, less starch, earlier timing. Second, create a wind-down ritual that does not involve food. Warm shower, gentle stretching, low light, calming audio. Third, keep tempting snacks out of visible reach. You are not weak, your environment is simply asking you to repeat what it offers. Let's talk about sugar-free and diet products. Some contain sugar alcohols or artificial sweeteners. They may not raise glucose as quickly, but they can keep your taste buds trained on sweetness and sometimes trigger cravings. If they upset your digestion, reduce them. A better long-term plan is to lower your sweetness preference gradually. Use cinnamon, vanilla, and citrus zest for aroma. Over time, many people find that plain foods taste richer and cravings decline. When you measure progress, avoid perfection traps. A single-day reading can reflect sleep, stress, and hydration. Look at trends. Also track functional wins, fewer afternoon crashes, less urgent hunger, better mood, steadier energy. Those are meaningful outcomes. If you feel better and your eating becomes easier, you are moving in the right direction even before any lab result changes. If you want to add strength work safely, start with tiny steps. Use a sturdy chair and practice slow sit to stand. Hold a wall and do gentle calf raises. Use light bottles as weights for arm curls. Do these movements on days you feel stable. Strength is glucose-friendly because muscle uses glucose. Do not chase soreness. Chase consistency. Even small strength work can help preserve muscle over time. If you live with someone, ask for teamwork. A household pattern is stronger than individual willpower. If family members bring home sweets daily, your brain will fight a daily battle. Instead, change what enters the home. More vegetables, eggs, tofu, and plain yogurt. Keep sweets as planned treats, rather than constant background noise. When the whole home shifts, the effort drops dramatically. Here is a simple restaurant survival approach. Step 1, start with vegetables and protein from the menu. Step 2, ask for sauces on the side. Step 3, take half the starch portion and set it aside. Step 4, eat slowly and drink water. Step 5, take a short walk after the meal if possible. This sequence works in almost any cuisine. It respects real life and still protects your glucose curve. It is also worth addressing fear. People often hear that diabetes means inevitable decline. That belief can become a self-fulfilling story. While diabetes is serious and needs ongoing attention, many people can improve control substantially with lifestyle, especially when they focus on consistent routines rather than extreme rules. The goal is not to prove something in a week. The goal is to protect your nerves, eyes, kidneys, heart, and energy over years. Breakfast routines are one of the simplest tools. You can deploy daily to serve that long goal. If you want to summarize everything into one rule, you can say out loud, use this protein and vegetables first, starch last and small, move a little after. Say it before you eat. Let it guide your plate. When you repeat the same rule, your decisions become faster and your stress decreases. And if you miss a day, do not restart from zero. Do not punish yourself. Simply return at the next breakfast. Returning is the skill. The body responds to patterns, not to perfection. Your next meal is always your next chance. More practical questions people ask, what about milk? Some tolerate it, others get bloating. Choose unsweetened options and watch your response. What about cheese? It can add protein, but also salt and saturated fat. Use small portions. What about rice cakes and mochi? These can digest fast and raise glucose. Keep as rare treats and never alone. What about instant oatmeal packets? Many contain added sugar and flavors. Choose plain oats and add your own seasoning. What about nuts? Helpful but calorie-dense, keep to a small handful. What about dried fruit? Sugar is concentrated, avoid as a regular snack. What about healthy granola? Often sweetened, treat it like dessert, unless it is truly unsweetened and portioned small. If you have very high fasting glucose in the morning, consider the dawn phenomenon, where hormones before waking raise glucose. Breakfast structure still helps, but evening habits may matter even more. Avoid large late dinners. Avoid late desserts. Keep dinner earlier and lighter. If you wake often at night, focus on sleep quality. If you suspect medication timing issues, discuss with your clinician. The goal is to address the whole 24-hour cycle, not only the first meal. Here is a caregiver-friendly way to explain the plan to a parent or older relative. You can say, we are not taking everything away. We are just changing the order and the balance. First we eat vegetables, then we eat protein, and rice or bread comes last in a smaller amount. We will also take a short walk after meals. This simple language reduces resistance. Then you make it easier by preparing vegetables and protein ahead of time, so the older person does not have to cook. Support is not about nagging. Support is about making the healthier choice the default choice. If the person you are helping has low appetite and gets full quickly, the priority is protein density without heavy volume. Eggs, tofu, yogurt, fish, and beans can be used in small portions. Add vegetables in soft cooked forms to reduce chewing burden. Use soups and stews. Keep starch small, but do not eliminate it abruptly. Gentle changes are more sustainable and safer for older adults. A sample 7-day breakfast cycle described as ideas rather than strict rules day. 1 eggs with greens and a small portion of mixed grains day. 2 tofu with cucumber, tomato, and a small sweet potato. Day 3 savory oats with vegetables and an egg day. 4 beans and vegetables with tuna and lemon day. 5 fish with vegetable sides and a small bowl of rice day. 6 plain yogurt with berries and an egg plus vegetables day. 7 vegetable soup with tofu and a small starch side. Repeat the cycle and remember, you can swap ingredients while keeping the same structure. If you need a 3-minute breakfast for busy mornings, boiled egg plus tomatoes plus seaweed, tofu cup plus cucumber slices, plain yogurt, plus a small handful of nuts, plus a few berries. Add water, then move a little after eating. These minimal breakfasts are better than skipping, because skipping often leads to a bigger, unstable meal later. If you enjoy sweet flavors, you can train your palate slowly. Start by cutting sugar in half in your coffee or tea. Replace sweet dessert breakfast with cinnamon aroma. Use a few berries instead of syrups. Over several weeks, many people find that their baseline preference shifts. The brain stops demanding intense sweetness. This is not a moral achievement, it is a biological adaptation. Add a short note about feet and safety for people with long-term diabetes. High glucose over years can affect nerves and circulation. Check feet daily for small cuts. Keep feet warm. Avoid walking barefoot and seek care for wounds that do not heal. Keep regular eye and kidney checkups. Lifestyle helps, but routine screening protects you from silent problems. If you are discouraged, remember that progress is often invisible at first. The first changes may be less hunger, fewer cravings, steadier mood, and better sleep. Lab changes can follow later. Do not compare your timeline to others. Your body has its own pace. Your job is to keep the direction consistent. Direction beats speed. To close, here is the simplest promise you can make to yourself tomorrow morning. Drink water, eat 1 protein, eat some vegetables, keep starch smaller and move a little after. That is it. Repeat. When repetition becomes normal, your body often becomes calmer. That calm is the beginning of control. Additional menu variations to keep the same structure across seasons in winter: use warm bowls such as vegetable egg soup, miso soup with tofu and mushrooms, oat porridge with savory toppings, or stew-style beans with vegetables. In summer, use crisp salads, cucumber, tomato, onion salad with eggs, lettuce wraps with tuna and tofu, chilled tofu with herbs and a squeeze of lemon, or yogurt-based savory dips with vegetables. Seasonal comfort can change, while the glucose-friendly structure remains identical. If you feel that vegetables are hard to digest, start with cooked vegetables rather than raw. Lightly steaming broccoli, sautéing mushrooms, simmering cabbage, or adding greens to soup can reduce bloating for some people. Gradually increase fiber so your gut can adapt. If constipation appears, add water and gentle movement. And consider fiber sources like seaweed and cooked vegetables. The goal is not to force a large salad. The goal is to build fiber in a way your body accepts. About all or nothing thinking, many people try to fix blood sugar with strict rules. Then break, then feel ashamed, then quit. This is common. The better method is always something. Even on a messy day, you can do something: add protein, start with vegetables, reduce sweet drinks, walk after a meal. These small actions keep the system from sliding backward. They also build confidence because they are achievable. Confidence is not emotion, it is evidence from repeated actions. If you are someone who relies on bread, use a staged transition. First, keep the same breakfast but add protein and vegetables. Second, reduce the bread portion. Third, choose bread that is less sweet and more whole grain. Fourth, stop adding jam or sweet spreads. Fifth, replace some bread days with an egg and vegetable plate. This staged approach prevents the shock that often triggers rebound cravings. If you are someone who relies on rice, use a similar staged transition. First, keep rice but reduce it slightly and increase vegetable sides. Second, switch some white rice to mixed grains or barley. Third, cool and reheat portions when convenient. Fourth, move rice to the end of the meal. Fifth, choose days when rice is replaced by beans, tofu, or vegetables as the base. You do not need to abandon cultural foods. You need to change their role on the plate. Myth busting. If my glucose is high, I should skip meals. Skipping often increases hunger and leads to overeating later. A stable breakfast with protein and fiber is usually better. Only exercise matters. Exercise helps, but without a stable meal structure, cravings and energy crashes can undo it. Fruit juice is healthy. Juice removes fiber and concentrates sugar. Whole fruit in small amounts is different. Low fat means safe. Low fat often means added sugar. I just need willpower. Environment and routines are more powerful than willpower. A gentle psychological tool: decide in advance what your default breakfast is, and remove daily negotiation. Negotiation drains energy. When a choice is already made, you can simply follow it. If you like, write a tiny note on your fridge: protein first, vegetables first, starch last and small, move a little after. This is a reminder, not a lecture. Over time, it becomes automatic. If you want to involve family, use shared routines: prepare vegetables together once a week. Keep boiled eggs ready. Walk together after dinner, and avoid keeping sugary snacks on the table. Family support works best when it is practical and non-judgmental. Praise effort, not numbers. Encourage small steps. When people feel supported, they repeat the behavior. When they feel criticized, they hide and snack in secret. Support should reduce stress, not increase it. The long-term goal is protection. Better glucose stability reduces the risk of nerve pain, eye problems, kidney strain, and cardiovascular risk. It can also improve energy and mood. While no single meal guarantees anything, the daily pattern accumulates. Think of each breakfast as a small deposit into your health account. A small deposit repeated many times becomes a meaningful balance. Closing affirmation: you are not broken. Your body is responding to years of patterns and to the realities of aging, stress, and modern food. Patterns can change. Start with tomorrow's breakfast. Keep it simple. Keep it repeatable. And when you slip, return at the next meal. Returning is the skill that creates results. Extra guidance for those who monitor at home if you check fasting. Glucose and notice variability. Do not panic. Sleep, stress, pain, infection, and even dehydration can shift readings. If you choose to check post-meal glucose, do so consistently at the same time. Point after eating and compare similar meals. Use the information to adjust patterns, not to punish yourself. If a meal spikes you, reduce the starch portion next time, add more vegetables, and make sure protein is present. If you feel low energy, ensure you are not under-eating protein and that your sleep is adequate. Use numbers as feedback, not as a verdict. If you have gastrointestinal sensitivity, introduce vinegar and acidic foods cautiously. If reflux flares, focus instead on the order rule and on fiber and protein. If you have dental issues or trouble chewing, use softer proteins like eggs, tofu, yogurt, and fish, and use cooked vegetables and soups. If you have limited mobility, focus on safe movement, seated marching, arm raises, gentle stretching, and short indoor walks. There is always a version of the routine that fits your body. One more set of meal ideas built around common pantry items. Canned tuna mixed with chopped cucumber and herbs eggs with sautéed onions and cabbage tofu, topped with seaweed flakes and scallions. Beans warmed with tomatoes and garlic leftover vegetables turned into a quick soup plain. Yogurt turned savory with cucumber and pepper. Small brown rice portion topped with a large stir-fry. These are inexpensive, fast, and reliable. If you often feel sleepy right after breakfast, it may be a sign that the meal is too carbohydrate heavy and too fast. Slow down, chew, and reduce refined starch. Add protein. If you wake and immediately drink sweet coffee or juice, change that to water first. If you skip breakfast and then eat a large lunch, try a small protein breakfast instead. Small changes often produce big comfort gains. In the end, the secret is not hidden at all. It is simply that the first meal sets the day's rhythm. When breakfast is built on protein and vegetables, with starch last and smaller, the whole day becomes easier. Appetite is calmer. Choices are simpler. Energy is steadier. That is the real reason breakfast is a powerful lever. Use it gently and consistently and let time do its work. A final motivational frame that helps many people: do not chase never. Chase usually. Usually eat protein at breakfast. Usually start with vegetables. Usually keep starch modest. Usually walk a little after meals. Usually sleep at a steady time. When your life is built on usually, occasional exceptions. Do not destroy progress. They become part of a normal human life. The body responds to the average. The average improves when your defaults improve. If you want a short script to read aloud at the end of your video, here. It is tomorrow morning. Drink a glass of water. Put one protein on your plate. Eat vegetables first. Keep rice or bread small and eat it last. After you finish, move your body gently for a few minutes. Do this again the next day. Small actions repeated create big change. Thank you for staying with this information. If you share it with one family member who worries about blood sugar, you may give them a practical starting point. Not fear, not shame, but a simple routine. Start tomorrow morning. Keep it safe. Keep it steady. And celebrate each small win. One last checklist you can print mentally: water, protein, vegetables, smaller starch, slow pace, short walk. If you remember only these words, you can build a breakfast that supports your glucose. Everything else is optional detail. Details help, but the checklist changes lives because it is repeatable. And if you are thinking, I tried before and failed, remember that a plan fails when it is too hard to repeat. The right plan is the one you can do on tired days. Make it simpler than you think it should be. Use frozen vegetables. Use boiled eggs. Use tofu cups. Use plain yogurt. Build a routine that respects your real life, not your ideal life. You can start today by preparing tomorrow. Put the protein where you will see it first. Wash a small portion of vegetables. Decide the starch portion in advance. Then sleep. When morning comes, you are not starting from zero. You are continuing the plan you already set. To finish, give yourself credit for every step. A healthier breakfast is not a small thing. It is a daily act of self-care. When you eat in a stable order and move a little after, you are working with your body instead of fighting it. Keep going. Keep it gentle. Keep it consistent. Over time, many people find that control feels less like a battle and more like a normal routine. That is the goal, a normal routine that protects your future. If you want, you can end your video by asking viewers to choose one action: add a protein, add vegetables, reduce sweet drinks, or walk after eating. One choice is enough. One choice repeated is powerful. Thank you for watching, and I hope tomorrow morning feels a little lighter, because you changed one small thing. Remember, the next meal is always a new start. Start small. Stay safe. Return to the pattern. That return is your strength. Share this with one breakfast at a time. Thank you and take care. See you in the next one. Bye.